Hey, Tommy here. Just going to give my opinions on the reading here from Lesson 8, Self-Control in the Magic Ladder to Success by Napoleon Hill. So do a little bit of reading from it and do some opinions. But like always with anything I recommend, it's what Napoleon Hill said in the beginning of this book. And at the end, he says pretty much along the lines of make sure to have a pen and paper ready or pencil and paper, pause it, write your ideas down, the things that come to mind, because ultimately, the end of it, he says, it's about creating higher thought impulses in your mind to help you move along in those projects, those ideas, those things that you're working on. So make sure to just give it a pause and do some, free stream of consciousness journaling if something's coming to mind, because, you got a great idea or something like that. Lesson 8, Self-Control. Lack of self-control has brought grief to more people than any other shortcoming known to the human race. This evil shows itself at one time or another in every person's life. Every successful person must have some sort of balance wheel for his or her emotions. When a person loses his temper, something takes place in the brain that should be better understood. When a person becomes extremely angry, certain glands triggered by negative emotions begin to empty their contents into the blood, and if this is kept up for any great length of time, the amount will be sufficient to do serious damage to the entire system, sometimes resulting in death. The blood coagulates at a time like this, which accounts for one turning white and red in the face alternately as the flow of blood throughout the body is temporarily checked. The blood coagulates at a time like this, which accounts for one turning white and red in the face alternately as the flow of blood throughout the body is temporarily checked. No doubt nature created this system for the protection of the young human race during the savage stage of development, when anger usually preceded a terrific fight with some other savage, which might mean opening of the veins and loss of blood. Scientists have found, by experiment, that a dog will, when tormented until it becomes angry, throw off enough poison with each exhalation of breath to kill a guinea pig. That's crazy. I did not know nothing about that one. But there are other reasons why one should develop self-control. For example, the one who lacks self-control may be easily mastered by one who has such control and tricked into saying or doing that which may later be embarrassing. Success in life is very largely a matter of harmonious negotiation with other people, and this requires self-control in abundance. The author of the Law of Success philosophy once observed a long line of angry women in front of the complaint desk of a large Chicago department store. As he watched at a distance, he saw that the young woman who was hearing the complaints, kept sweetly cool and smiled all the while. Notwithstanding the fact that some of the women were very abusive, one by one this young woman directed the woman to the right department, and she did it with such poise that it caused the author to walk up closer where he could see just what was happening. Standing just back of the young woman at the complaint desk was another young woman who was also listening to the conversations and making notes, and passing them over the shoulder of the young woman who was actually handling the desk. These notes contained the gist of each complaint, minus the vitriol and abuse of the person making the complaint. It turned out the woman at the desk was stone deaf. Wow. She was getting all the facts that she needed through her assistant at her back. The manager of the store said that this was the only system he had found that enabled him to handle the complaint desk properly, as human nerves were not strong enough to listen all day long, day in and day out, to abusive language without causing the person doing the listening to become angry, lose self-control, and strike back. An angry person is suffering from a degree of temporary insanity and therefore hardly capable of diplomatic negotiation with others. For this reason, the one who has no self-control is an easy victim of the one who has such control. No one may become powerful without first gaining control of the self. Self-control is also a balance wheel for the person who is too optimistic and whose enthusiasm needs checking, For it is possible to become entirely too enthusiastic, so much so that one becomes a bore to all those nearby. Self control is also a balance wheel for the person who is too optimistic and whose enthusiasm needs checking. For it is possible to become entirely too enthusiastic, so much so that one becomes a bore to all those nearby. That's really good. It's funny, this isn't the first time that I'm reading through these pages, and I actually love that story. I remember hearing it the first time that it was just a deaf woman, and the other person was writing what needed to be told and handing it to the person in front who was that person was deaf, and they just told her, "Oh yeah, it's up the escalator and to the right. They'll help you." No idea what the actual issue was. That was awesome. I highly recommend, from my here time in the past to years in the future, the whole intention is for us to be creating this mastermind and, where we're connecting for you to constantly get more higher frequency, thought impulses that help you with your projects moving, along forward. So without further ado, go on to the next one. Start from the beginning if you haven't read this whole book. Pick up the book if you need to. It's nice to actually have the thing with you as well. Peace. I hope you have an awesome day, and I wish you all the best. Ooh, one more thing. I do a breathwork community, so I might have the link down below. Feel free to join. It's daily practice, and actually helps a lot in self-control. Really, just building habits is good in self-control. All right, we gotta go. Peace. Have a great day.